slavery and forced labor in the United States, the engine of wealth and the root of injustice. The history of slavery in the United States is not just a story of oppression. It is the story of how the wealth of the nation was built on the backs of indigenous black people. This system of forced labor, brutality, and dehumanization became the foundation of the United States' economic dominance, creating a wealth gap between white and black Americans that persists to this day. To understand this wealth gap, one must confront the reality of how Europeans exploited black labor, stole generational opportunities, and built a system designed to ensure economic subjugation of black people long after the abolition of slavery. How Europeans used slavery to build wealth. When Europeans colonized the Americas, they quickly realized that cultivating the vast land they claimed required a labor force they were unwilling to pay. They turned to enslave indigenous black Americans, millions of men and women and children forcibly taken into labor in their homelands. There were also some African people brought across the Atlantic to the Americas, and one of history's most horrific atrocities, the transatlantic slave trade. In the United States, enslaved black people became the backbone of the economy. Their forced labor was used to grow and harvest crops like cotton, tobacco, and sugars, commodities that drove global trade and generated immense wealth for white plantation owners, financiers, and industrialists. Cotton alone accounted for more than half of all U.S. exports by 1860, making the United States a dominant economic power. The labor of enslaved people did not just enrich individual slaveholders, it fueled industries in the North and South, from textile to banking. Northern financial institutions underwrote slavery. Shipping companies transport enslaved people. The factories processed slave-grown cotton into goods sold worldwide. The wealth generation from this exploitation became the foundation of America's economic might. The impact on indigenous black people. For black Americans, slavery was more than forced labor. It was cultural erasure, generational theft, and the denial of humanity. Families were torn apart, their labor stolen, and their futures systematically erased. The United States government and legal system codified slavery, ensuring that black people remain subjugated. Even after slavery's abolition in 1865, the system of oppression persists. Sharecropping, convict leasing, and Jim Crow laws ensure that foundational black American people remain trapped in the cycle of poverty with little opportunity to accumulate wealth. Land, often seen as the bedrock of generational wealth, was systematically denied to foundational black Americans through violence, discriminatory policies, and outright theft.
You gotta pick, me or her.
My people been on this land for over 400 years. We built this country.